Our history has been steeped in military tradition, nickel, coke, all through World War II for any of our troops anywhere in the world, to provide them with that little taste of home. There's nothing more real than the commitment to serve, the sacrifice it makes, and I think it gives us great pleasure that have our brand associated with our great military men and women around the world every day.
Coca-Cola's support of service members dates back to the 1940s when the company committed to, quote, see that every man in uniform gets a bottle of Coca-Cola for 5 cents wherever he is and whatever it costs the company. Joining me now at Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta are Mark Rahiya, Chief U.S. Sales and Operations Officer, and Jerome Richard, Program Manager for Talent Acquisition. Mark served in the U.S. Navy and Jerome with the U.S. Army. Thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us here on Hiring America.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of your history, tell me what it's like for a company here to be so supportive of service members since the 40s.
Well, I think it's first of all, it's exciting to be part of an organization that has been so supportive of our military throughout the decades. Part of our global expansion of how we became a great international company was in World War II, as we established nearly over 30 field bottling facilities that followed the troops around the different fronts of the globe. We left behind bottling plants, and it really helped launch the international business for Coca-Cola, being so supportive of the troops during World War II. And we serve approximately 2.4 million beverages a day to the armed forces, so we're very proud of that.
How many employees here at Coca-Cola are veterans?
Well, we have thousands of employees here that are veterans, and we try to engage our veterans through our BRGs and try to make them active and make sure that they're actually having a great time and they actually enjoy what they're doing as far as reaching out to the military spouses as well as the military veterans.
And just to make it a little easier to understand, the Business Resource Group, that is a group here within Coca-Cola made up of associates that are veterans?
Veterans and non-veterans. One of the things that they do, our BRG, Business Resource Group, does is that they help us and assist us with career fairs, because what we know is that not a lot of our recruiters have spent time in the military. And what we want to do is have people that can walk the walk and talk the talk, so those veterans and those business resource groups actually help translate the resumes from those veterans to our recruiters.
Mark, tell me what the culture is like here at Coca-Cola. What's it like to work here?
We're a culture that is built around a brand Coca-Cola, that really stands for values, integrity, authenticity. It is what is Coke and why we've had 128 years of continued success, why we've been a part of communities, why we engage with the military and engage in every community we operated in over 207 countries around the globe. It is a place where people are very passionate about the business, very committed to our brands, and it's a fun place to work because you always say we're in the business of selling smiles, right? We refresh the world.
That sounds good.
And so it's a hard-working culture. It is one where we're an operating business. We sell 1.9 billion drinks a day around the globe.
Jerome, you have a military skills translator on your website, right?
Yes, at enjoycareers.com/military. What we have is a military page designated for people that are getting out of the military that want to learn a little bit more about our company. So what a service member could do is go in there and enter their MOS, and then what it does is pops out and it translates it to open positions within our company.
Mark, speaking of skills, how do you help somebody narrow that down and figure out really the best position for them?
A company like ours is big, so we have multiple career paths that you can follow. The important thing is to find a good place to land, sort of learn the culture of the organization, get yourself established, and then you've got an internal visibility of the other opportunities that are out there.
Gentlemen, tell me a little bit about the mentorship opportunities available here at Coca-Cola for veterans.
Well, I think there's a couple things. Overall, we've already mentioned our Military Veterans Business Resource Group, which offers internal support and opportunity for those veterans and friends of the military employed with Coca-Cola. Also, what I think is very exciting, we have a program underway where we're aligning with American corporate partners. So what that's allowing us to do is provide 50 mentors from our organization to actually help mentor individuals who are making that transition right now to or not to Coca-Cola, but making that transition from military to the civilian workforce. So that's a great opportunity to leverage some of our talent out with military going through the transition.
What is some advice that you both would offer to veterans who are watching? What would you say to them?
One of the things that we've learned is that a lot of people that are getting out of the military is about what we did in the military. But in an interview, we've got to make sure that it's about what I did.
If you think about in our organization, a lot of people come in as drivers. We have 15,000 trucks on the road every day. Commercial vehicles. We need great drivers who are looking to build careers with us in that space. We have over 400 warehouses operating every day with fork truck drivers and supervisors and managers operating and moving our products around the country, and logistics management and support. We have IT. A lot of folks in the military work on the IT systems. There are many ways to help translate what you've done into practical things and find that right spot to land in an organization like ours or other companies.
Tell me a little bit about your military experience.
Well, I was a submarine officer, so I came out of school. I did the Naval ROTC program at my university, and I went to the Naval Nuclear Power School and became, and then through the submarine program. I served on the USS Maryland out of Kings Bay, Georgia. It was a tough decision whether to leave or stay when my junior officer tour was up. I made the decision to leave, and it was figuring how to translate submarine experience into the civilian world was obviously a big challenge.
And how did you do that?
Starting early, I started about a year out. I did a lot of networking. I looked at companies I thought I would like. I liked Coca-Cola a lot because of the integrity and values and things like that. And it was through a lot of networking and following up, going to websites, tracking down data and information that I kind of honed in on a couple companies.
And what was the transition like to civilian workforce?
It takes a little while to adjust. You've gained a lot of experience, and it's very valuable. A lot of folks won't have that same experience, and so sometimes it's a little hard to relate. But what you find, I think, over time is you learn about the new environment and you adapt because you've been trained to do that. And you learn to apply some of those experiences and skills. And you bring a little bit more maturity from a leadership perspective, whatever level you're coming out of the military, to the organization you join.
Jerome, tell me a little bit more about your military experience.
I was an Army infantry officer. Just like Mark, I was ROTC. I went through ROTC. And after a couple of years, I decided to get out. The first career that I went into from an infantry officer was a sales job. If you think about comparable skill sets and looking at on the ground, infantry and sales probably does not necessarily match up, but what really did match up was the ability to make a relationship. At the end of the day, that's what I was doing in the infantry and Army, as well as I was doing in my sales job. So the two had a correlating factor there.
And was it difficult for you to identify that initially?
It was a little difficult because I didn't see the direct connection to sales. And I had a mentor early on that kind of helped me guide through that process. And through that process, we'd start talking, and I found out sales would be a good area for me to land in.
Tell me how the company benefits from hiring veterans.
Well, company benefits in a myriad of ways. They're going to get a high-quality individual out of the military who understands the importance of mission and task and getting work done, and at the same time is bringing in a skill set that is already at a very high level for the particular job they're coming in for and has the ability to grow. And we see often leaders who are able to come in our organization at all levels of the military, progress and grow well across our career paths and become our future leaders.
Veterans Day is a very important day throughout the country and here at Coca-Cola, and you had a reunion recently.
We did. We had a fantastic Veterans Day celebration this year. Being the 50th anniversary of the beginning of the Vietnam War, we focused on honoring our Vietnam veterans. And, you know, during the Vietnam War, there was the POWs, mostly pilots who were shot down as they were on their bombing runs over North Vietnam. There was a group called the Alcatraz 11 who were sort of the ringleaders, who were trying to have lead the resistance among the other veterans, and who really were tortured quite significantly in the early years. So they were captured, and eventually were carved off and held at a separate place that was even worse than the Hanoi Hilton, called Alcatraz, which the nickname they gave it. And there had recently been a phenomenal book called Defiant written about this group. And we honored those Alcatraz 11 at our event, and all our Vietnam veterans, which we have quite a few here at the Coca-Cola Company. So it was a very special evening, a great reunion for this group of POWs who really sacrificed and made a huge sacrifice for our nation, and then our ability to honor all our veterans with a special focus on Vietnam.
You were there as well?
Yes,
What was it like for you, Jerome?
It was very emotional just to see what these men went through at that time for the sacrifice of us all. It was just really very, very emotional.
Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on
Thank
Hiring
you.
America.